I think, not just me, but I think a lot of people these days are enjoying hikes a little more. Probably all too lost our minds a little bit to ourselves in a couple years of quarantine isolation for some of us. And, you know, now and then, it's good to get outside and walk around, see what nature we have. I went to Montana back in end of June, early July, and that was beautiful. In Glacier National Park, something about the mountains just calls me. I love rocky mountains with snow on them. And not just any mountains, but mountains that have been glacially carved. There's a difference between mountains that are far north enough to have had glaciers and mountains that, well, were only sculpted by rivers. It's like the difference between the mountains in Colorado, you know, our most rocky state in the US, and the mountains that are, I don't know, in Canada, because the mountains in Canada, in the Ice Age at least, just got gouged out by huge sheets of ice. It's crazy to think. And what happens as a result is that the valleys are big, open, and wide, and U-shaped, and you look at the mountains and they're very steep and pointy. But the mountains in Colorado have a lot more, like, brevity and V-shaped valleys that are very steep because they were gouged out by running water for the most part. So it's interesting to think about. But here in Kentucky, we don't have any of that. We don't have any, I wouldn't say we have any glacially carved regions out here. But we do have a river. Well, not far from where I'm walking right now is a place called Red River Gorge, and it's a very beautiful area where, well, these mountains are mostly made, I think, of sandstone and limestone and just more soft rock, and it's been worn away by water over many, many years. And got things like in this park, its namesake, a place called Natural Bridge, which is a big arch that looks crazy. It's just I don't know how nature did that one. But there's not even one of those. There's multiple around this park. You know, we have like Arches National Park in Utah, which I haven't been to. Those arches are small. You look at these in Kentucky and they're humongous. You can literally walk over them. You can fall off them. You can get a view. I hope this camera's doing a good job of capturing the atmosphere out here. But definitely thinking about next summer. Going to plan a trip in the Canadian Rockies, like Banff, Jasper, Waterton, and even Glacier again. Just because something about those mountains is just, I don't know. I'm in love with mountains that are, I can't even begin to describe in words what's so magical about them. I think I love the freshness of them. It's like, it's a new landscape, like it was newly formed. It doesn't feel old. But there's nothing wrong with this. This is definitely old. This is cool, isn't it? This is a, I don't know, you find stuff like this all over Kentucky, to be honest. Not even far from Lexington, where I'm from. You know, there's limestone cliffs when you go on the rivers. Big overhangs like this and stuff like that. It's really cool to see. There's like water ripples on this. I don't know if you can see that. Some geologists could identify what those ripple shapes are. I don't even know. There's ripples right here. Look at that. I mean, not ripples. I don't know if that's the right word, but water just making little pockets. It's so cool. Lots of beautiful shapes created from water and rock. Soon it will be fall. The trees will be a different color. I don't think I've done enough walking around in forests in the fall. Maybe I'm gonna go. I have this idea to go to the Smoky Mountains National Park in October. I hear it's beautiful around that time of year. All the trees are yellow and orange and red. Whew. I've been walking for a little bit today, a few hours already. Dang. I don't even know if you can see that, but way up there, it's a piece of limestone, sandstone, whatever that is. It just gives you an idea of how tall these cliffs are. How did that happen? I don't know. I think what's cool about mountains is when you look at them, you just realize that they live on a time scale that's far, far longer than any of our lives. They operate on a different clock. Moving so slowly, you look at them and it's like they were always there. I think that's the mistake humans make when looking at nature, is they're like, oh, this thing changes so slowly. It's always gonna be like this. And we're so naive to think that, you know, our small manic time scale won't have any effect, or that we can somehow beat it. I don't know what I'm saying, really. I'm just here for the ride. Look at that. That's cool. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little carving cave thing. There's a lot of caves out here too in Kentucky, lots of caves. In fact, in western Kentucky, we have the longest cave system in the entire world, at least known to man. Think about that. The longest in Kentucky. And I guess it is because of all the limestone rock that the state is basically filled with. There's a lot of underground water. There's a lot of, that's why we get things like sinkholes. You know, the earth just collapses beneath you because the limestone has just become so thin by the water that's eating away underground. It's really cool to think about. Look at Kentucky, there's so much water. Actually, kind of surreal to think about that the other parts of the country are struggling to get water. That's what happens when you overuse water in a desert. What did people think was going to happen? That's what I was talking about humans just thinking that they can come in and water green lawns in a desert. Like, what were you thinking? Whose idea was that? How did you expect the water situation to turn out? didn't think it would happen in your life. You're gonna kick the can down the road and have it be another generation's problem. This certainly seems to be how it is with a lot of things. Kicking the can down the road. It's not my problem, is what people will say. Whew, I almost slipped. But I mean, what can you do? A lot of people are just trying to get by, resigning to forces greater than themselves, and just hoping that those forces don't intervene on their lives. It's certainly how it is in Russia. I think about a lot. Definitely don't want to get too deep into the topic, but it is a tragedy. I think one of the most strongest episodes of crying was thinking about the war that's going on, and just yeah, it's a real tragedy. But we don't have to get into that. I'm out here hiking. But, you know, that's exactly the point. It's just, what can a person like me do when I'm trying to do my own thing? And it's difficult. It's a dilemma always with bigger issues and stuff like that. But I try to make positive change in my own way, my own roundabout way of making art, hoping that it will help somebody, inspire somebody. And I hope people see that and understand that. That's always what I've been about doing, and lifting others up and believing in others, seeing the good in people, sometimes to a fault. And but just trying to make something happen. There's a lot of potential in people, and sometimes they don't see it in themselves, and sometimes I just give people the opportunity, try to make an opportunity, because I don't know, I'm always a person who kind of lives in the future. It's another one of my faults. I think about the future a lot, where the present is always a vehicle for how it's going to affect the future. I don't know if that made sense, but like, you know how people say, live in the moment, enjoy the present? Sometimes I struggle to do that. It's one of my faults. And I always think about how what I'm doing in the present is going to affect what's going to happen later down the road. Sometimes I think it's just because I don't know. I think about my visions in the future, and I'm always trying to claw my way towards it. Like, I don't know. I was about to make some weird analogy with some like underground mole poking around in the dirt, digging a tunnel. I don't know how they find their way around there, but sometimes I feel like that. And sometimes I'm misunderstood about what it is I'm trying to do. But time's always my friend. Time's on my side. Yeah. But I've been thinking a lot, as I do, so early in my life, in my career, you could call it. But it is just a life, but I'm trying to do something with it. I feel like there's like a difference between people who kind of feel a little more like they're here to enjoy life, and at the same time, you know, I feel like that I want to enjoy life, but I want to make it more enjoyable for others in the field of expression and art and entertainment, to add something rather than just passively enjoy what art is around. And it's hard. It's not the easy path, for sure. Sometimes I envy just being okay and comfortable with not feeling the need to express something all the time. I don't know what it is. I think it's almost like a condition. There is a snake on the ground. You definitely probably can't see that with this camera, but that was cool. It's a small little snake slithering around. It was so tiny. But, I don't even know what I was saying. Just, I could ramble a long time. I do that in my head a lot. Ramble. I think I talk through my thoughts in one big, long conversation with nobody other than myself, really. Actually, I do talk to myself, but I play the roles of other people. Constantly self-evaluating, self-reflecting. How I always try my hardest, and maybe to a fault, about trying to understand the perspective of other people and how they look at me and what I need to do to, I don't know. It's probably not worth thinking about, because it's at some point you just realize you can't please everybody. And that's another one of my faults. I just try a little too hard to please everybody sometimes, and it really hurts my ego and just self-worth when even just like one or two people don't like me for whatever reason. And that's just something I'm gonna have to be comfortable with in order to continue looking at the good and the positive things, the things that are worth moving forward with. It's getting dark, like it might rain. But I think I'm gonna turn the camera off and head back home. Not home, really. This is a Sunday. Tomorrow's a holiday, Labor Day. And I've got my friends, my girlfriend, at a campground nearby. I'm gonna go back there. But I took a little hike today. We're actually at an outdoor festival. Bass, electronic, something crazy. You know the vibes. I don't have to elaborate because I imagine some of you have been there and know what I'm talking about, but it's cool that that's happening in the hills in Kentucky. Someone's doing that. It's mad respect to them. Someone had the vision to realize there's a market for that in Kentucky. And I have lots of respect for those people. And it's a big motivator for me. I'm trying to be like that. That's what I mean, give people a place. And sometimes I'm not good at that, but I'm gonna keep trying. And that's all I'm really ever here to do. So thanks for watching. I don't know if this was any help. It was helpful for me, I guess, just to talk and ramble to the void, whoever's watching. But stay safe out there, be creative.